For all those who remember these guys. A very cool band from the MySpace era that kind of disappeared after a while. So I guess the question is, what happened to them? That's what we're gonna find out today. So my friend, as usual, take a cup of coffee, cigarette, fried chicken, whatever you feel like as we explore the Ailment MySpace era. Real quick, before starting the video, if you didn't join our Discord yet, what are you waiting for? It's free, it's awesome, it's a great community, and if you don't have the app, it takes 1 second, literally, to download. Also, in case you didn't know, we're on Twitch every Wednesdays and Fridays, and it's awesome. We just basically hang out, listen to some music, we take your suggestion, we discuss many topics related to music or anything really, and to be honest, I'm always having a blast. So with all that being said, let's start the video. Alright, so I actually sat down with Josh, vocalist and founder of the band, and he was kind enough to tell me all there is to know about their story, about what they went through and all that. So let's get started for real. So the band was founded in 2008 in Sunshine Coast, Australia. And the members of the bands were really influenced by hardcore and metalcore, but not any kind of metalcore. We're talking about The Used and On the Road. So it was really bringing another kind of influence to the classic metalcore we were hearing at the time. I don't really know how to call that, but it was kind of a more emotional kind of metalcore. It didn't show really in the very first things the band did, but later on you're gonna understand what I mean. But yeah, already in 2008, the Ailment released a super sick demo. Hell yeah. I mean, sure, it was rough around the edges, but you could tell they had something going on. I kind of felt the Devil Wears Prada mixed with early Bring Me the Horizon kind of era type of mix, and it was pretty cool and also very unique because most bands who tried, to do the Pray for Plague thing would go more on the deathcore classic side. But Josh and the band, being heavily influenced by metalcore, it was sounding different already, and I was there for it. Can I help you, buddy? I know you probably won't care about this, but there's actually a story about this fly. It was stuck between my windows, and here in Canada it's starting to get really cold, with the winter coming. And I kind of knew it would die if I would just open the window. So I actually opened my window from inside my place and just, let the fly inside. And since a couple of days, it's just hanging out here And funny enough, it's always like close to me or something, like it knew or whatever. So why am I telling this story? Because it's my video and I felt like it. So... But yeah, anyway, let's go back to the demo. So I really love Josh's vocals because as much as they're all very unique, I also love the fact that I can hear the Ollie Sykes old Bring Me the Horizon high-pitched vocals. And at the same time, I'm kind of hearing the Mike Runica from the Divorce Preda on songs like XCOMBX and stuff like that, like the lows, metalcore, classic lows. And I think this particular combination of tones really made something special. As I mentioned earlier, the band was heavily influenced by the hardcore scene, and with Josh being straight edge on top of it, the band was basically playing with hardcore bands, which makes sense. But if you remember, metalcore band and deathcore bands with the scene kid aesthetic were not exactly accepted by the real tough hardcore dudes, which obviously was bringing a lot of hate towards the band, but we'll get to that later. On a more positive note, the band was getting more traction, getting more and more popular in the scene, locally and even on MySpace, and they decided to go in a local studio called RTD Studio, which brings us to 2009 when the band released Evolution into Apocalypse. Super cool EP. I mean, as you can hear, it was more in line with what they would do later on. I really appreciate like the hardcore elements being more present, and with the classic metalcore riffs, some other deathcore parts, and that's the thing about the Ailment. They're not really deathcore or metalcore. It's kind of a blend on like a mix of certain things, and I think it makes them even more unique. Josh's vocals were already better. In only a year you could tell he improved and it was more defined, and I really liked it. Already in this EP, everything was catchy. What I mean by that is it was always kind of bouncy, which was pretty rare at the time with all the metalcore and hardcore trying to be chaotic, if that makes sense, like very fast and stuff like that. The Ailment, I feel like, was focusing on being fun and catchy, and I was there for it. So yeah, not too long after releasing their EP, the band started writing music again. And in the mindset of, you know, wanting to step things up, in 2010, they went in a very big studio, a super expensive one, the kind of place you mostly record big pop artists and stuff like that. But ultimately, since this kind of studio wasn't used to record, you know, very rough metalcore and deathcore stuff, it wasn't ideal. And even with Roman from the Red Shore, mixing and mastering the song, the band was still disappointed because the vocals were kind of buried in the mix, it was sounding bland, so the whole process basically just didn't work. But at least on the bright side, the band still wrote very cool songs and they were trying it live and it was working very well. Awesome, right? But what's even more awesome is that in 2011, the band actually got signed by Skull and Bones Records, a pretty sick label that if you've been watching my videos, you know how many sick bands they had at the time. So yeah, after seeing how well received the songs were and stuff like that, they decided to go back to the very same studio, the RTD studio, where they recorded their EP, only this time the producer had very much improved the place and even himself, you know, as an engineer and stuff like that. So it was a big step up, even if it was the same place, which I thought was pretty cool. Which brings us to March 2011, when the band released their famous album called Dead Ends. I love this album so much. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to it. Even after 12 years. 12 years. God, I feel old. Yeah, I mean, it still holds up and it's good and it's very unique and I've never heard anything like that since, you know. The dark ambience with like the amazing vocals, and by the way, to me, this is when Josh really found his sounds in terms of like tones and vocals and stuff. Like at first I was telling you his influence that could show at least how I was perceiving it, but on this one he's himself. Like he sounds like him and that's it. Like he's not even comparable to anyone, and I think that's the ultimate goal as a vocalist. And I mean, even for the band, I think this is when they found their sounds, their personality, and I talk about that all the time in every video I make. There's this moment where a band really find their thing, their X factor or something. Also, Josh told me that his writing process was a bit different. He wasn't listening to deathcore, metalcore, or any kind of metal really. He was listening to some moody emo music, and it was bringing a different kind of emotion, and I think it's reflecting very well on the record, on the songs, and you can really feel the depths of it. I really love the artwork. I've never seen anything like that. It was made by a very talented artist that, of course, right now I can't remember the name and it's not in my notes, but I'm gonna link his profile in the description because, wow, dude, it's amazing. It was commissioned for around $3,000, just to give you an idea. I love how Josh always had a different vision, like a very artistic one, if that makes sense. And he wasn't afraid to work with people outside of the scene that never had anything to do with metal or whatever. He just wanted to do his own thing, and he wanted the Ailment to be different. And I love that. I really respect that. I mean, it does make sense to work differently if you want a different product, right? Then they released an official video for the song Organic Waste. Which I think was very reminiscent of the era. I personally love it. And yes, I did find some amazing live performances in 2011. Sick, right? I mean, the band was on fire at this point. They were selling a ton of merch. They even had a dedicated place to rehearse together 3 times a week, Josh told me, because they really considered the band as their job, as their career. And if you ask me, that's the mindset you need to have if you really want to make it work. But unfortunately, that's when things kind of went south for them. Let me explain. You see, during this era, Josh actually stopped being straight edge, you know, kind of just partying and having fun and stuff like that. They were kids, you know, try to remember during this age, things tend to change really quickly. You're trying to figure out who you are as a person, as an artist, and you're just experimenting and trying different things. So to me, at least, it makes a lot of sense that he was like, I'm gonna try different things, I'm gonna experience different stuff, and it's totally fine, right? Except the hardcore dudes were not happy about that at all. As I said before, they were already getting a lot of hates just because of the way they look and what they were doing and stuff like that. So imagine when they figured out that he stopped being straight edge on top of it. For them, it was the ultimate disrespect, I think. So the hate instantly became way much worse. Way much worse. Josh told me that it went as far as punching kids during the Ailment shows. Like, imagine being this tall, beefy, hardcore dude punching like 15, 16-year-old kid trying to enjoy a show. I'm sorry, but it's just pathetic. They even tried fighting with Josh as he was playing live. Like, they would get on stage and trying to fight and stuff like that. Like, what is wrong with you? My God, I don't even know where to start. I mean, as much as I love the hardcore scene, don't get me wrong, if you're to the point of punching people in the face because you disagree with personal choices of a singer of a band you don't even listen to, you have issues, my dude. And like if it wasn't enough already with all the violence and shit, they started rumors about Josh, like very intense, dark, bad rumors about him, kind of ruining his name in the scene and locally. which of course was very bad for the band, you know? As I was saying, the band was like rising and going very well, but with all that stuff about Josh, just made up stuff about him, it started to hurt the band a lot. But yeah, kind of in response to all this hate, because Josh told me that during that era, people would also call him a sellout. It was a term people would say a lot back then. I don't know if it's still a thing, but back then, as soon as you would change a little bit your music or you would do something to disagree with, they would call you a sellout. So yeah, they went in studio and they recorded a very catchy songs with clean vocals for the first time. And during the studio update, you could see Josh drinking, and I think it was a direct response to the haters. The song was called Memories, and it's one of my favorite songs. Ooh, yeah, man. I mean, I completely forgot about this song before doing the video. As I was doing my research and I was listening to the update and stuff, I'm telling you, I started listening to it like 50 times. It's very good. But yeah, unfortunately, with the tremendous amount of hate they were getting, it really got to the band, and Josh was kind of the only member left really willing to go past the hate and stuff, because the rest of the members, you know, there's terrible rumors about your vocalist, people shit on your band. It's very heavy and difficult. So yeah, it kind of ended there. I guess it's one of those stories in which the hater wins, but let me tell you, this isn't a win at all. I mean, are you proud to shit on someone's dream and use violence and stuff like that? Like, what does it say about you as a person, right? I'm sorry, but this is a big L for the Australian hardcore scene. I mean, I'm not trying to attack you by any means, but come on, you're better than that. And to be honest, I'm kind of pissed that you took away from me one of my favorite bands. But yeah, enough with the negativity. I have some good news. Not only is Josh doing great right now, but over the years, he's done some amazing other projects, like Pave Paradise, in his current project called The Coolest Thing About Art.
Yeah, I'm sipping on that juice again. Damn, I'm slipping, slurring, falling over. I feel it in my body again. Shit's getting way too surreal with all my friends. Damn, I'm sick of making amends. Cause I've been astronautical, heaven bound. Santa weed feels all around me. In this mind frame, I fade away and chasing fame.
So sick. I mean, I'm a fan of anything Josh is doing, really. To me, he's the definition of an artist, and he's such a great guy. It was truly an honor to be able to share his story and to share it with you guys. Josh, thank you so much, and thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. As usual, please, if you enjoyed the video and the channel, leave a like and subscribe. As I mentioned earlier, feel free to join our Discord. We're always live on Wednesdays and Friday on Twitch. And on that note, I'm gonna stop talking. I'll see you in the next one.